Hey, good morning, everybody. Brother Phil here. I normally don't do videos driving, but I'm doing it today at least. So I'm headed to the shop to get my car fixed, or trunk fixed, so I can continue my deliveries and stuff. But I did a video on the Feast of Trumpets, and there was no sound. So we're gonna try it again. Mind the sun, please. Forgive me for the sunlight coming in different angles, and because I'm going down a windy road. But what I wanted to talk about is the future Feast of Trumpets, or a nearby Feast of Trumpets that could happen this year as well. Well, a lot of people in the church are looking for, any moment rapture, and that's possible. To the world, that's what's happening anyway. And to the majority of the church, the rapture is happening at any moment. But it doesn't change the fact that the rapture is an appointed time. The rapture of the church was an appointed time since the foundation of the world. It's always been an appointed time. Matter of fact, some scholars, some rabbis, and some historians, Christian historians, believe that Jesus was born on the Feast of Trumpets or Tabernacles. I like to lean towards Tabernacles, but for the sake of this video, let's just say Feast of Trumpets, because we really don't know. Some people believe that the world was formed, after the 6 days, before Adam and Eve, or whatever day Adam and Eve was created on. Before Adam and Eve, the world was formed on one, particular Feast of Trumpets. At least the beginning started. Also, they believe that did I already say Jesus was born on the Feast of Trumpets as well? A possibility. So the Feast of Trumpets holds a very important position in the seven feasts of the Lord. Now, Jesus said that these feasts are my feasts. A lot of people believe that these feasts belong to the Jewish people. Y'all hear people say, "Oh, those Jewish feasts, we don't listen to those." Well, God said these feasts are my feasts. So Jesus, rehearsing the Passover all through the 6,000 years, the Jewish people rehearsed the Passover. And it literally happened when they put the blood on the door, and that was Passover, right? And then they had unleavened bread and first fruit, and then, Pentecost. But these things already happened in the Old Testament. When Moses was dealing with Israel, there was a first Passover, unleavened bread, first fruit, and Pentecost. Then when Jesus Christ came the first time, he hung on the cross on Passover, put in the tomb on unleavened bread, rose from the dead on first fruit, and the church was formed on Pentecost. So next up is the Feast of Trumpets. Now, I'm a simple-minded person, so when I hear, "For the Lord himself shall descend from the clouds with a loud shout, and the voice of an archangel, and the trumpet of God, and the dead in Christ will rise first, and we who are alive and remain shall be caught up to meet the Lord in the air. Where he is, we will be also." And I hear that trumpet, I never ever thought about the Revelations trumpet, because I knew it was judgment, and the church should be taken away if you read your Bible. If you're not reading your Bible, then you're going to get anything. Or if you're just blind to the Bible, you're not going to get it. That the Feast of Trumpets would be it. When he told the people around him that no man knows the day and hour, not the angels, not the Son, not the angels, but my Father only, that is an idiom for the Feast of Trumpets. Now, the Feast of Trumpets this year lands on October 2nd to October 4th. If you check one of my videos I did last September, I said that whenever Jesus Christ comes back, look at the Feast of Trumpets and then back up. What's happening? Is there wars and rumors of wars? Are there pestilences? Are there earthquakes? Are there famines? Then you're probably at the Feast of Trumpets where he's supposed to come back at. Like I said, he can come back at a Feast of Trumpets. We just don't know the year. So once you find the year, if you have a way of finding it, and that's another video for itself, but look at the Jubilees. Look at the Jubilees rather than the Shemitah cycles, because the Shemitah cycles locate the Jubilee. And the Shemitah cycles locate each 7 year, well, the Shemitah cycle is a 7-year period. So when you see, God sends events to label the beginning of a Jubilee year. So God sends events. People say, well, you can't go back and look at an event and say it's Jubilee. I believe you can. I really do believe you can. Like the Yom Kippur War was the beginning of a Jubilee year. How do we know? Because Van Gruen and the rabbis blew the trumpet to declare it was a Jubilee year. So from 1973 to 1974, that is a Jubilee year. So 50 years is hard to miss. There's an increment of 50 years. You can't miss 50 years. You can miss a 7-year increment, a 3-year increment, but you cannot miss a 7-year increment. So if you're going off a Jubilee year, then you can easily kind of say that Jubilee year, having proof that 1973 to 1974 was a Jubilee year, count up 50 years, you can prove that 2024 or 2023 to 2024 was a Jubilee year. But to really define it is if you miss and that's not a Jubilee year, you're either a couple of years off or you got to go 50 more years before the next Jubilee cycle. So remember, God told Noah that his spirit will not always strive with man, for his time will be 120 years or 120 Jubilee cycles. Now, hopefully I'm not mixing anybody up. So a margin of error of 50 years is pretty good, easy to understand once God opens that up. But in Daniel chapter 12, he said that the wise would understand, but the foolish would not understand. Well, a lot of people are starting to understand, well, a few people are starting to understand the Jubilee is the way you mark. Now, in 1923, Israel got the declaration to rebuild their city, something like that. No, I forgot. Don't quote me on that. But in 1923, something happened where it was big. So 1923 to 1973 is a whole full Jubilee cycle, and that was probably the 119th Jubilee cycle. Now, a lot of people are counting like all over the place. They're like, oh, we're at they show charts and we're at the 118th cycle, or we're at the 117th cycle. No, you're at whatever God said you are at. That's like those people that say, well, we're 30 days late. Well, they don't think. They really don't think. And I'm not saying it arrogantly. I'm just saying, if God is coming back for men, he's not coming back for aliens in a different part of the solar system. He's coming back for men, so he's using men's clocks. So when you guys say, well, the clocks are off, well, God is he's using the clocks to prove to you that he was accurate. Same thing with the first coming. He gave you all those numbers in Daniel chapter 9, and you got a 490 year, 7 sevens equals 49, all of that multiplication and adding and subtracting. He gave you those. The Messiah should be cut off at 62 weeks. You notice the Messiah wasn't cut off at 69 weeks, but 62 weeks. So there's a 79 week plus one in the future. So God told you when that last Jubilee cycle would land. And if you go back to the 6-day war in 1966, there was a blood moon cycle. I know I'm all over the place on this video, but this video is for people who already kind of know. This video is not for new converts. I'll make that later. I tried to make that with the sound cut off on me, but now I'm making this video right here for the people who know about the Feast of Trumpets. So I've always said on this ministry, maybe with the exception of 2017, that because I was thinking atonement, but the atonement, that's impossible. Jesus will return on the end of a Jubilee year, not the beginning of a Jubilee year. So it doesn't matter who's blowing. It'll be a feast of trumpets. I'm sorry, my brain is like locked in on my driving here. Oh, there we go, green light. So when we look at 6,000 years, Jesus comes at the end of the Jubilee year, which is the last year of a 6,000 year cycle. Well, it's not a cycle, it's actually all the whole plan of God. 6 days he made the earth and rested on the seventh. Likewise, at the end of 6,000 years, it says the day of the Lord, which is the sovereign 7,000th year, will come as a thief in the night. That means the rapture of the church. It'll come as a trap to most people, but it's coming at the end of the 6,000 years. So if people don't believe in the rapture, you don't go in the rapture. I just say this, for those who don't believe in the rapture, at least have hope in it, and then you might go. You don't want to be here for the tribulation period. Trust me, you don't. So why would you sit there and at least not somewhat have a seed, faith of a mustard seed, say, hey, well, maybe they're right. I don't know for sure. Did God make a rock he can't lift? What meaning, can he make millions of people vanish? Can he make all babies vanish? Or kids under accountability vanish? Yeah, he can. He created the universe. Have you seen pictures of the universe? Have you seen pictures of me and your bodies? How our bodies are structured? That's a miracle. Each person, we look at each other every day and we like, oh, that's not a miracle. I'm tired of looking at you. But you don't know the miracle that's standing right in front of you. I got a person driving in front of me. That's a miracle. That's an awesome human being. Wow. So I believe, this is just me, I could be wrong. If you get a list of the next 5 Feasts of Trumpets, I ain't gonna swear on nothing, but I'll tell you, I believe that one of those 5 Feasts of Trumpets is the rapture. I'm leaning towards this year. I'm just saying, if I'm wrong, then I'm looking at the Feast of Trumpets, a future Feast of Trumpets, as the rapture of the church. And it falls between the 2nd and the 4th, possibly kind of falling on the 5th, which is a Sabbath. And it'd definitely be a Sabbath in Israel. And some people say that the rapture of the church will fall on a Sabbath day. I don't know about all that. Some people even said in the past that it would fall on a Tuesday, which I don't know why they said that, but I've heard that before. But this one is falling on a Friday. Can you imagine people at the club that Friday night, they won't be at the club that Friday night, because the rapture would it happen Saturday morning for us, or would it be Friday morning? I'm confused. I got to think about that, because every year for the Feast of Trumpets, I always kind of get mixed up, especially when they don't see the moon until the next day. But it's a 48-hour period at the last trump. See, a lot of people say, well, you know, I remember a brother that used to be, he passed away, but he came and said, oh, the church would be taken out on the first day of the Feast of Trumpets because they didn't have a second day. But then that takes away the purpose of the blowing of 100 trumpets, right? So that you got to blow the 100 trumpets, and it's a 9 series of 11, or 11 series of 9, one of the two. And the last trumpet is this long blast. I'm taking I told y'all already, I'm taking my car to the shop, right? I just got to find the street to turn on. Anyway, I've been on long enough. Hopefully I can upload this video, because it's a long video I got on here. Anyway, God bless you guys. You guys have a wonderful morning. I am going to come back on with another Feast of Trumpets video that's supposedly be shorter and for people who really don't know about the Feast of Trumpets. God bless you guys. Have a wonderful morning.